I read 6 books. I read 6 books in February, and I'm really excited to talk about every single one of them. I'm currently using a pitchfork to hold my mic because I can't find my Elphaba broom, and the irony is not lost on me that it's a pitchfork. I borrowed it from my living dead doll, Sin. She holds a pitchfork. And I was like, hey girl, can I borrow that for a minute? The first book that I read in February was Wuthering Heights. Just like every other person in the world, I fear. I wanted to read this before I watched the movie because I had never read this before. And this was interesting. I read it whenever I was in the mood for it, so that really helped my reading experience. And Emily Bronte actually published this as a pseudonym under a male name. I think it's like Ellis something. I'm forgetting the last name. But she wrote this in, I believe it was 1847. And then she died in 1848. And then Charlotte Bronte, her sister, ended up publishing it under Emily's name. Whenever this book was published, it got a lot of backlash because of how the themes of the book, I guess, is just like not a traditional book back in the 19th century. But yeah, Emily Bronte ended up dying of tuberculosis. So she never even got to really see how popular her and how meaningful and what an impact her book would make. I actually really loved the first part of this book. I thought it was really powerfully written. It's definitely about I think it comes down to generational trauma. There are 3 Kathys in this book. There's Kathy, Catherine, and Kathy. Or is it Catherine, Kathy, Catherine? Or is it Catherine, Kathy, Kathy? There are 3 Kathys in this book. I distinguish the movie and the book to be the recent movie. I know there's like a ton of adaptations. The 2025 Emerald Fennel version, which I love Saltburn, and I really loved the movie, like a lot. I liked the things that were changed. Okay, but let's get into this book really quick because it is insane. Like, I did not realize how much abuse would be in this book. Like, it's kind of wild, actually. Heathcliff in the book is very intense. Like, he's a horrible person. All of these people are horrible people, pretty much. It's very drama filled and very toxic, and this is not a romance. In my opinion, this is not a romance. Romance is not the driver of the book, and for it to be a romance, by definition, it has to have a happily ever after or a happy for now, which this has neither of that. But it has a love story entwined into the story. So like there is love within the book. It's not healthy love, but it's love nonetheless. And basically we have Wuthering Heights, and then we have Thrush Cross Grange. Wuthering Heights is like a dilapidated, very poor household, poor family, and that's where Kathy is from. And then that's ultimately where Heathcliff ends up growing up because he gets brought in by the abusive father, Kathy's abusive father, and then Heathcliff is ultimately abused in that household. He's an alcoholic father. What is his name? The dad's name? It's something. It's something. Yeah, it's something. And so he is very abusive. He's an alcoholic. Kathy and Heathcliff fall in love as children, and they have this like very tumultuous relationship. And then she ends up going over to Thrush Cross Grange and marrying one of the rich guys named Edgar. He is a part of the Linton family, and Heathcliff gets really jealous, and he ends up marrying what the other girl, the other Linton, Elizabeth. No, what? Why can't I remember any of the characters' names? The other Linton. He marries the other Linton. Who is it? I'll just call her Miss Linton. It's narrated by Nellie. Nellie is like the household caretaker type of character. Yeah, so it's got a lot of amazing, impactful quotes. Like, truly, I can understand why people love this book so much. And it's very complex. Like, it's not, I don't think people love it. Well, I don't think most people love this book because they find it something to admire. I think it's more like, it's so complicated, and especially the way that the movie depicts it. I just loved the way that the movie depicted it, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Well, I mean, for one, I love Jacob Elordi. I also love Margot Robbie. That's her name. Why am I like questioning every name that I'm saying? Yeah, Margot Robbie. Same person who did Barbie, and then Jacob was also in Saltburn. Yeah, I thought it was so stunning and cinematic, and the scenes, and it wasn't historically accurate whatsoever, but it was entertaining and it made me feel something. And I actually couldn't stop thinking about it for quite a long time after watching that movie. I was just like devastated with how beautiful it was, and toxic, and just emotionally charged. It was just very, very good. But the movie is only the first half of the book. And whenever I was reading the book, I could tell why. Because the second half of the book is just these characters just diddle-daddling and abusing each other. I don't even know what diddle-daddling means, but abusing each other and just perpetuating the cycle. And it gets very weird, and there are puppies involved, and it's just like extremely, it's something. Yeah, well, I will probably reread this book eventually one day in my lifetime, maybe, perhaps. You need to look up the family tree as well before you read it, because you're just going, I mean, I don't know if you're anything like me and you get confused with names. You will probably get confused with all of the Cathys. I was like, what in the actual hell is going on? So I had to look up the family tree without trying to like spoil myself, because I actually didn't know what happened in this book. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, it's not a happily ever after. That's not a spoiler. I knew it didn't have a happy ending. Yeah, I wasn't going into this with expectations to be like swooned or anything. I definitely wanted to try and follow along with the characters and like what the story had to offer. But yeah, there's a lot of amazing quotes, honestly. Like, whatever souls are made of, his and mine are the same. And then on the back, this one says, "Be with me always, take me any form, drive me mad, only do not leave me in this abyss where I cannot find you." It is very emotionally charged, and there is love in this book. There's no doubt about it. But I wouldn't call it a romance, point blank, period. I would call it a gothic drama. That's what this is. This is a gothic drama, a characterization, so to speak. I really liked this. I didn't love it. Okay, the first half I really did love, but the second half it kind of lost me just a wee bit. I was kind of like, all right, I'm ready to finish. So yeah, we did read that. Sorry for going on such a long tangent. I did read other books that I'm excited to talk about. I like to talk about them in order. So let me just quickly check on what order I read these. I thought I had them stacked in the right order, but here we are. Okay. The next book that I read was The Woman in Cabin 10. And I read this in one sitting in one day. I really, really enjoyed this. This one is about this woman who goes on this cruise. She's a journalist, and she walks into a cabin because she's like trying to avoid the situation in the hallway. So she like goes, no, is that how it happened in the movie, or am I getting them confused? In the book, she's in her cabin, and then she walks in on this lady, like taking a shower, basically, like getting ready. And then she's like, oh my God. And then the other lady's like, oh my God. And then she's like, oh my God. And then it's like this awkward situation. And then the next day, or was it later that night or something, she hears a body fall into the water from her window or from her room. And so she's like very, very convinced that, or no, I think she also heard yelling, and then she heard the body like falling down. And that's not a spoiler. That's literally, it says the woman in cabin 10. And so she's like trying to convince everyone in the cruise that she, like, that someone went missing. And so I wouldn't say that this was the most amazing thriller I've ever read, but I really did have a good time with it. You're trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Like, I was like, is this a unreliable narrator? Is this, like, what is this going to turn into? Who is going to be the culprit? Now, when you watch the movie, it's a lot more apparent. I mean, obviously it's because I had read the book by that time, but I literally read the book and then immediately watched the movie as soon as I finished. I mean, the movie is very fast paced. They do change a few of the things, a few of the like elements, and a few of the timelines, and a few of the how do we get to point A to point B. They change some of that, obviously, because like it's an adaptation. It's not like, I don't know, whatever. I thought it was good. I thought it was decent. It wasn't like amazing. I will never rewatch it, and I will probably never reread this again. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You never know. I really love the cover. I love the water, and then the green and blue. You know, it's like you're staring out of a cabin window. I feel like you guys are like kind of at a weird angle. I'm trying to hide my stack of books that I still need to put away from the last time I filmed. Oh, and by the way, Wuthering Heights, I used to not rate classics because I felt like it was, I don't know. That was so pretentious of me. I will give Wuthering Heights 3.5 stars. Emily Bronte is definitely like a genius, ahead of her time, like writing crazy ass things in the 19th century. And it's just unfortunate that she's not around to see that impact. And people were like, oh, she'd be rolling in her grave if she saw the movie. I mean, it's just an adaptation. It's not meant to be that serious, but I know a lot of people who like love the book are like, that's not Wuthering Heights. Well, it's an adaptation, okay? So calm down. Anyways, Woman in Cabin 10. I always do this. The Woman in Cabin 10. Anyway, The Woman in Cabin 10, I would give this a solid 3.5. It was good. By the way, Ruth Ware, which I honestly forgot that this was even a Ruth Ware book. I love Ruth Ware's writing. Yeah, I want to read all of her books, but I don't know, maybe a 4-star. 4-star seems fair. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Oh, I will say too, in the beginning of the book, she gets attacked and someone like breaks into her house or her apartment, and then she has like a lot of anxiety. And so that's like kind of a theme of the book, because she has all of this pent up anxiety. She thinks she's going to get like attacked again. She definitely thinks that someone in the cruise ship, this is a very small cruise ship, she's just fearing for her life. And so there's this sense of what's going to happen next. And so for that, I really enjoyed it, because it was like, I was like, I compulsively read the entire thing on a Sunday and had a great time. We were nice and cozy. It was snowy. It was perfect. And then the next book I read, I borrowed from my library. I don't own a physical copy, but it's Unloved by Peyton Corrine. Okay. So this one we're following Ro and Matt, aka Freddie. And Freddie is failing biology. He needs a tutor. So Ro starts tutoring him. I don't remember what's in it for her. I don't remember that. But for him, obviously he like needs to pass biology. He's a hockey player. And she has this like very toxic boyfriend, and she is kind of like trying to make sense of all of that. And she starts becoming friends with Freddie because, during their tutoring sessions, they start to get to know each other a little bit better. And I think one of the main, talking points for me with this book is the fact that it does have ADHD rep. Freddie has ADHD, and he also has dyslexia and dyscalculia. I might not be pronouncing that right, but it's basically where your brain cannot process numbers. He also has dyslexia and ADHD, so he just is struggling, and the school's not very accommodating, and Ro sees that, and she basically fights for him. And it's really endearing, and I really loved their dynamics, and I loved the advocacy that was portrayed in this book for ADHD. I just really liked that for it alone, but also because it's hockey romance, and I just tend to really like a hockey romance. But I will say female-male hockey romances have just not been hitting. Male-male hockey romances are just superior. That's just a fact. This was not super memorable. I think what was memorable were the advocacy elements and the awareness and all of that kind of stuff. At this point, we should all know that people with ADHD exist. So awareness, I don't know. But more so, we should be, as a society, we should be more leaning into, okay, how do we make room? How do we make space? How do we make people succeed? Not just awareness. Oh yes, there's ADHD. Oh yes, there's autism. Oh yes, there's dyslexia. You know what I mean? What do we do next? But I feel like as a society, we are backpedaling in our progress. Maybe not everywhere, but in many facets and many ways, I feel like that. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation. So let's just keep going with what books I finished in February. That one was 3 stars. It was good. I liked it. Nothing super magical to say about it. I am excited to read the third book. Apparently it has autism representation. And then the next book I read was The Enchanted Greenhouse. This was on my winter TBR, so pat on the back to me for actually picking up books on my TBR. Wuthering Heights was also on my 2025 books to read, so there's that. Anyway, so yeah, I read The Enchanted Greenhouse, and sorry, I feel like this thing is wobbling around everywhere. It's kind of it's not stable. We're gonna improvise. Okay, now you can't even see the book. Oh, that's kind of close actually. Okay, so yeah, this feels awkward. This feels really awkward. Okay, yeah. The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. We're following Turlu. Is that her name? Turlu? Yeah, Turlu. Hated the audiobook, by the way. I hate the narrator. She's just very whiny and breathy and I don't know how to explain it, but just not a fan. But yeah, so this follows Turlu, and she gets punished. She gets turned into a stone for a bunch of years because she created a sentient spider plant because she was lonely, and she gets punished. And then one day she wakes up in the cold wilderness of winter, and she comes across this greenhouse full of sentient plants and this grumpy guy who helps her and gives her clothes and food and shelter, and it's really cozy. I wasn't a fan of this one. I loved the first book, which was Spell Shop. The Spell Shop, by the way, is not an autumnal book. It's just more of a spring summer cozy, but it's not autumnal. Okay, I've just got to get that out there. There's almost no colored leaves in the Spell Shop. But anyway, I digress. This is a winter book. This was definitely a winter book. And the plot of this just was so, whenever I'm reading my cozy books, okay, now we're really going to get into my feelings, because I feel so far the books I've talked about, I've been oh yeah, 3 stars, 3.5. But it's whenever I get into that 2 territory that I start to get a little bit fired up. Okay, I get a little bit fired up. My opinions are stronger. Okay, I've become a very opinionated person as I've gotten older, and books just bring that shit right out of me. This one, the plot was just asinine. She comes across all of these sentients, these plants or whatever, and then at one point the atmosphere gets extremely hot, and she has to save all of the plants at one time, and they're all trying to uproot the plants and save them and take them into the safe place. And at one point they get the other plants to help them out. to help them. Stay with me, okay? I know this sounds insane. It's because it is. Still need my cozy fantasies, my cozy, even low stakes fantasies to be rooted in somewhat logical plot. So they get these like other plants to like help them, and then those other plants almost die in the process because hello, they're fucking plants and they don't have arms or legs or a way to defend themselves. So yeah, they almost died themselves. I was like, this is literally so dumb. I honestly found it abusive. I'm like, not me wanting to call PPS, Plant Protective Services, because they're putting these plants in harm's way. And like, I don't know. It's not even that they're sentient plants. That's not the part that bothered me. It's the part that you're going to literally take a creature, a being, something with feelings and practically a soul, and allow it to put itself in such horrible harm's way where it could die. I feel like that's neglect. I'm like, let's call PPS. Something's not right here. I don't know about that. And what's funny is like, while I was reading, I was like, wait, is this ableist of me? Because I was thinking, I was like, wait, maybe there's some kind of like symbolism here for disability. And then as I kept reading, I was like, no, that's not what was happening. No, there's not no, that's not. At least that's not what I got. Because it crossed my mind and I was like, Lachlan, are you being ableist? But no, I mean, I'm talking like from a standpoint of, you know, if you're taking care of a child, you wouldn't let them participate in an activity that you know that is directly putting them in harm's way. You would want to put them for, like, protect them. Otherwise, it's just neglect. Now, I understand when situations are extreme things happen. But at the same time, I was just like so pissed off for these sentient plants that almost died, and I was just like, I don't like this. And some of the writing was just not the same as Spell Shop, okay? It just wasn't, and that's all I'll say about that. Now, there was a really good quote. I think it was, I don't remember what it was, but there was a quote towards the end. I don't remember if it was something that annoyed me or if it was something I liked. I just remember being like, oh, I need to make note of this quote.
And I didn't.
Actually, let me see if I did. I have no idea. No. I didn't make note of it. That's not surprising. 2 stars. I really love a cozy book, okay? And we'll talk about that because I read another cozy book in February. I read and finished The Witch at the Edge of the Wood in one sitting. I loved this. I gobbled this up. This was so good, and I love the underlying message of it. It's so cozy. This one is about Valina, who has worked very, very hard her entire life, and she just feels like she can't ever make it, right? And she comes across this cottage, this adorable, abandoned, dirty cottage, and she cleans it up and she makes it her home, and it's just amazing. Someone comes knocking on her door one day. She's trying to help him because he needs help, and then she finds out the cottage is there's more to the cottage than she thought originally, and it's plot. Spoiler. It's witchy. It's a cozy witchy book. So yeah, what am I even doing with my face? I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. I was trying to wink. Okay, I can't really wink. But anyway, yeah, there's lots of themes in this book. We read this for my Patreon, and I have a whole in-depth reading vlog, actually a very, very cozy vlog for this book. I really love how that vlog turned out. I annotated and stuff, but yeah, I feel like if everyone in the world, it's such a simple book, but if everyone in the world read this book, the world would be in a much better place, because one of the main themes was if you have the ability to help someone out, you should. And it was very simple to our main character. She was like, I had the ability to help this person out, so I did. I wanted to. And that's that. Like, it's simple as that. And it comes down to not hoarding your money, and to, if you have the means, to donate and to help people out. And I loved this. And there are more things that I loved about this. Obviously, the coziness. There are a few heavier things that I just really appreciated. If you want my thoughts, I have a whole vlog, but I go like in depth on pretty much every element of this book. Well, I try to hit on every element. I don't know, but I'm just a girl. And then last but very not least, I read The Royal Assassin. This was amazing. Literally amazing. Amazing. I annotated, the first half was, I feel like I should have reread The Royal Assassin, but I didn't. I just hopped into this, and that's okay because I eventually landed on my feet. Gave this 5 stars. This is truly amazing. The quotes in this book are remarkable. The writing in this book is insanely good. If you like a high stakes, character focused, character driven is what I'm like, character focused, character driven fantasy, you will love this. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably love this. I think if you like character driven fantasy, it's a high stakes, but it has like so many cozy elements because, you know, there's so much traveling. Oh my God, you guys know I love a traveling fantasy when they're by the fire and then they're drinking tea or they're just like trying to get by, you know, like they're the basic necessities, the bare necessities of life kind of fantasy. That's what this is. But there's a lot of political intrigue. There's so many amazing quotes. If you have not considered the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, please give this one a shot because this is the second book. This is book 2. It's amazing. It's so good. Seriously, this is the kind of fantasy that I want to be reading. This is it. This is it. It's not romantasy, but there is a little bit. And it's just like, a lot of it's just kind of heartbreaking. I'm not just talking about the romance. I'm talking about like in general. Okay. There's the relationship that this character makes, that he builds with everyone in the book. And my favorite character is the Fool, because literally the Fool is not a fool at all. The Fool, I love him. I would lay down my life on the railroad tracks for the Fool. I just think that guy, that dude, that little dude is hilarious. He is so funny. He's the comic relief that we need. I mean, he throws his punches too, like figuratively. He has his brainy punches. He throws it down. Like that, the Fool is not playing around. Okay. I love the Fool so much. And I'm really excited because I know that Robin Hobb has books called The Fool's Errand. I want to be reading that. Yeah, I do. Those are the books I read in February. Let me know what you read. I had a great time talking about these books. Definitely by far my favorites. I had 2 5 stars, a 2-star, and then some 3.5 stars. This was the vibe for me in February. Also, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't read a book for Black History Month. I read Black books all year round, and February just was like, obviously a short month, but I do wish I had read a book by a Black author, so that's kind of disappointing, but I can read one anytime, but I just wanted to say that because now that it's Women's History Month, I've come across a few books that I was like, oh wait, that would be great to read for women's history. And then I was like, I could have read something for Black history. I don't know. I just think that that's important, especially in this day and age. Read books by Black authors, by BIPOC authors, marginalized authors, queer authors, all of the above. Thanks for being here. If you made it this far, please leave a rainbow emoji because I'm staring at a Lisa Frank pillow right now, and it's very colorful, so I'm just thinking of the rainbow. Also, I'm really sad that winter's ending. The spring solstice. Can I talk? The spring solstice is, I think it's like March 21st. I'm really sad about that. Okay, I love winter. Fall is number 1. Winter is number 2. Those are my seasons. Everything else can kick rocks. I know that logically we need spring and summer so that the leaves can grow back and then we can watch them die again in the fall. But I'm just saying, if we could just like not have the heat, weather, and have that still like magic, if we could just like magic, like poof, there's leaves. okay, let's watch them fall now. Like, that's what I would like to do. But anyways, if you can make that happen, that would be great. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did like this video. And I do have a Patreon where I post all the secret things, and we also have a little Discord. It's super fun. I literally am in there every day. It's my lifeline. We have a little AOL chat. So if you'd love to join the Cozy Coven, we would love to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I think I've said that like 5 times now. But anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I will see you in my next video.
To a room with some lace and paper flowers.